Makes his comment for the next 5 minutes. Before we go home, I'd like to make about a 30-second comment on Social Security per Obama. Brian?
You have to give up the chair to do that.
Talk about the meeting's over.
I earlier talked about accounting reasons for replacing Social Security. Now I want to talk about basic principles. August 14th, 2010 marked Social Security's 75th birthday, placing it 10 years past standard retirement age. But despite the program's $10 trillion plus shortfall, no politician dares to suggest that this disastrous program be phased out and retired. All agree on one absolute: Social Security must be saved. While the program may have financial problems, virtually everyone believes that some form of mandatory government-run retirement program is morally necessary. But is it? Social Security is commonly portrayed as benefiting most, if not all, Americans by providing them risk-free financial security in old age. But this is a fraud. Under Social Security, lower and middle-class individuals are forced to pay a significant portion of their gross income, approximately 12%, for the alleged purpose of securing their retirement. That money is not saved or invested, but transferred directly to the program's current beneficiaries, with the promise that when current taxpayers get old, the income of future taxpayers will be transferred to them. Since this scheme creates no wealth, any benefits one person receives in excess of his payments necessarily come at the expense of others. In other words, Social Security is a classic Ponzi scheme. Under Social Security, every aspect of the government's promise to provide Social Security, financial security, is at the mercy of political whim. The government can change how much of an individual's money it takes. As I said earlier, it has increased the payroll tax 17 times. The government can spend a person's money on anything it wants. Observe the long-time practice of spending any annual Social Security surplus on other entitlement programs, or anything else for that matter. The government can change when, and therefore if, it chooses to pay a person's benefits and how much they consist of, witness the current proposals to raise the age of eligibility or lower future benefits. Under Social Security, whether an individual gets twice as much from others as was taken from him, or half as much, or nothing at all, is entirely at the discretion of politicians. He cannot count on Social Security for anything except a massive drain on his income. If Social Security did not exist, if the individual were free to use that 12% of his income as he chose, one's ability to better one's future would be much greater. An individual could save for retirement with a diversified, long-term, productive investment. Or one could reasonably choose not to devote all 12% to retirement. One might plan to work for far past the age of 65, like this guy right here. One might plan to live more comfortably when young and more modestly in old age. One might choose to invest in one's own productivity through additional education or starting a business. How much, when, and in what form one should provide for retirement is highly individual and is properly left to the individual's free judgment and action. Social Security deprives the young of this freedom and thus makes them less able to plan for the future, less able to provide for their retirement, less able to buy homes, less able to enjoy their most vital years, less able to invest in themselves. And yet, Social Security's advocates continue to push it as moral. Why? The answer lies in the program's ideal of universal coverage. The idea that, as a New York Times editorial preached, quote, all old people must have the dignity of financial security, unquote, regardless of how irresponsibly they have acted. On this premise, since some would not save adequately on their own, everyone must be forced into some sort of guaranteed collective plan, no matter how irrational. Observe that Social Security's wholesale harm to those who would use their income responsibly is justified in the name of those who would not. The rational and irresponsible are shackled and throttled for the sake of the irrational and irresponsible. Those who wish to devote their wealth to saving the irresponsible from the consequences of their own actions should be free to do so through private charity. But to loot the savings of untold millions of innocent, responsible, hardworking young people in the name of such a goal is simply unjust. Social Security is financially irresponsible and morally irredeemable. We should be debating not how to save Social Security, but how to end it. how to phase it out so as to best protect both the rights of those who have paid into it and those who are forced to pay for it today. This will be a painful task. I didn't say it was going to be easy. But it will make possible a world in which Americans enjoy far greater freedom to secure their own futures. We sing the national anthem and say, we're the land of the free. Let's start acting like it.
Mr. President, a brief report on the ballot. 100% of the ballots were cast in favor of the new member, so Steve Boyle becomes a new member of the club.
Excellent.
And so we're pleased to welcome him. Also, half a dozen of you chose to make comments about the menu and your suggestions. Thank you very much. Appreciate your help. I too like ribeye. Whoever wrote that, right? And thank you, Mr. President.
If you please.
Mr. Chairman, the bylaws of the Candlelight Club require adjournment at the end of the discussion.
Right.
I therefore move that this meeting be adjourned.
Okay, this meeting,
Three items to go.
this meeting may be adjourned. If anybody wants to hear what I have to say, you can stay.
Well, finish 19, 20, and 21. Get your agenda. Do 19, 20, and 21.
Okay, we got more agendas here. I know what to do with it. I want to thank the speakers this evening who did a marvelous job, both of them. I want to thank them for their presentations and for their rebuttals, and I want to thank all of you for coming to this meeting this evening. Next meeting will be on Tuesday, the 1st of February, right here. And the subject will be resolved. I better put my glasses on so I can see something. Resolved, states like Arizona should be able to police illegal immigration. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Now, the latter part of 2009, I was told by the President that the Social Security recipients would not be receiving an increase in their Social Security this year or next year because we have no inflation. Now, anyone who's gone to the grocery store and had to pay up $1 for one apple knows we have had inflation. Consequently, they knew we were not going to have inflation over 3 months ahead of time for this year and a year and 3 months ahead of time for next year. How do they know what the inflation is going to be in 2011 when it's a year and 3 months away from the time that comment was made? Thank you.